All right, good morning. How are we doing? The market is down again. Down once again. Below the overnight range. Yesterday was a big down day, but the pre-market doesn't show much sign of a rebound. So it's going to be another interesting morning. I did make a trade yesterday after ending streaming, and then I didn't have time to review it. It was a very good one. So I'll go through that in a moment. Just having a look at the market on a daily chart, trying to get some idea of where the market could be headed. But it's anyone's guess now. We're now down on the month. So we're actually in a red month. So despite that huge, whatever it was, 1,000-point rally, 1,200-point rally, the month, as you can see on the monthly chart, is now red, which I was not expecting to say a week or two ago. Not at all. So I think if we do break below yesterday's lows, you've got to look towards a test of that 24,000 level. That's where you've got to look, but we'll see. We will see what happens. I'm going to let the market open, do its thing. And then when we get a quiet 5 minutes, I'll go through yesterday's trade. We're up pretty big on the week. Pretty big. I haven't actually worked out quite how much. I can probably do that quickly now. What was it? 26th at the start of the week. $3,400 for the week, which is nice. Which is nice. What's that? 5%? Yeah, just shy of 5% on the week. I don't really want to trade today with that in mind too much. I just want to do what I can do and keep following my system. The market's been good to me this week without a doubt. This was a week where I should always be making money. When we've got a downtrend almost every morning, even Monday, which was a green day, we saw a downtrend in the morning. So this is not a week to get ahead of ourselves and overexcited. This is just a week where the market's given me opportunities, and I've taken it, which is my job. So, but there's no doubt this has been a good week. I want to end it on a strong note. So we've just filled the gap off the open. Come down to yesterday's close. We closed right near the lows yesterday. Rallied a couple hundred points in the remainder of the US session. But then overnight, we're right back to the lows again. I don't want to rush in today. My approach this week of taking my time with it has, that has been really good. That has been really good. So I can go through this week. I've made I've made 10 trades working it out here as I go along. 10 trades, 6 of which have been after 9 a.m. So 60% of the trades have been after 9 a.m. Whereas in the previous 3 weeks of the year, or was it 2 weeks? The previous whatever it is of the year, I only made 1 trade after 9 a.m. So that's quite a big change. You know, same overall system, but an entirely different way of implementing it. And I did say that on Monday morning, but I've really followed through on that, which is great. It's absolutely great. So I think it's been sort of a twofold benefit. Firstly, being that I've not felt the need to rush into an early trade because my session's longer. So it's helped me cut out some weak early trades, which has always been a bit of a problem for me. And secondly, obviously, it's allowed me to make the most of trends later in the day, which yesterday was a prime example of that. And I'll show you that in a bit. Yeah. So we're just testing the overnight range. So I don't want to rush, as I just said. I want to really, in an ideal world, let the market break below the previous day low. Although, to be honest, the way the market's opened, if we get a break and retest of yesterday's close, that could also be the place to enter. Or we could have just double bottomed here on a wider time frame, and we could now rally higher for the session. If we do rally higher for the session, I want to see the market break above the overnight range, because I would still be short bias all the way up to the top of the overnight range. But if we do break and retest the overnight range, I would trade along. So a really big positive first 5-minute candle. Okay, let's go through yesterday's trade. So market made a low just off the open and then rallied higher. This was all on stream. We then went short. Where did we go short? We went short here. Took profit here, half profit. Should have let the remainder of the position run. That was my mistake. Again, we talked about all this yesterday. But then the market went into a bit of a sideways range for a while, so I ended the stream. But then soon after, we came down, tested the low, and then we broke. And the market was so weak that I didn't wait for a retest. So I sold short on the close or around the close of this 1 minute candle here, which I can draw. Oh, wrong way. So I went short here and I took profit around 24,555. So that was the trade. That was the trade, a quick one, just making the most of some sharp momentum to the downside for 800 and something. So it was a good trade. And then I stopped there because I had to. But then there was, in the end, a break and retest. So we had the break here, and then we had the retest here. So you could have once again entered short here or here for more profit. But that was at 10:30, and I had to finish at 10 o'clock yesterday. So we weren't there to take it. But once again, the system working a treat. So sellers now coming in above that first 5 minute candle. When you've had such a big move yesterday, and it was a big move, really big, you've got to wonder if the market's got any legs to immediately continue today, or if it's going to just try and find its feet. It's probably quite a lot of uncertainty. There's not a lot for me to say while the market's sat in this overnight range. It's just a waiting game this morning to see if the market's going to be strong enough to rally to a place where we'd actually want to trade longs, or if we're going to end up coming back down. And this is just an early morning pop before more downside. So yeah, I'm just going to be quiet, and if anything happens, I will put the mic on and we'll do it. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on this. We're coming up to what was the low of the EU session yesterday, before a bounce and then further fall on the US in the US session. This is also the top of the overnight range, and it's also where we topped out yesterday evening before continuing lower. So we're just going to look for some potential resistance up here, and if we can get some sort of test and fail of this level, then we potentially consider a short. But we want to see some aggression. We want to see some aggression in the selling. We really want to see it really push these highs. We want to see the market really extend to a point where it's unlikely to continue. Right now, the market's just in a really smooth, gradual uptrend this morning. So for us to do anything, we really need to see a clear break of that trend. So sellers have come in above that 15-minute prior bar high. So what I'd like to see is one more attempt higher and then a failure. So we've had a break. I'd like to see some sort of attempt to bring the market back, and then we'll try and trade the downtrend. Okay, I'm short the DAX. I will change screens. Oh, hang on. So we're short here, stop loss above the high. Aiming at getting some sort of reversal here this morning. It's a sort of trade where it's not a quick one. We'll need to be patient on it. Market's rallying here quite strong. It's not looking great. We'll see if the highs can hold. Oh, currently we've read it wrong. Currently we have read it wrong. So unless these highs hold, we may be getting stopped out for the first time this week. We'll see. Possibly should have waited for the market to reach the highs. I think that's possibly a mistake. We'll see. You also can't be right every single time. Okay, we've been stopped out there. Change screens. So we ended up selling the market on a retracement before continued upside. Shouldn't have shorted before getting to these highs, but it's difficult because the market did look very weak there. Now you can't be right every time. You're going to lose some trades. So I think it's worth remembering that one. So we've got this consolidation level forming. It's very interesting to see where the market goes next. This is the level that I should have waited for. This is the level that I said I was interested in at the start of the day. So that's my bad. But it's good to learn a lesson. So a new hourly candle just about to form. The current hourly candle is going to close right at the highs. So let's see if we get follow through on that hourly candle. So if we get follow through to the upside, we can trade a break and retest long. If we get a reversal to the downside, we can trade a break and retest short. But yeah, we'll see. This is a really important price level that we're at now. Really important, because if we do break out long, that's quite significant, because so far this week we haven't broken above the overnight range since Monday morning. Every other day it's been down, and now we're finally flirting with the top of the overnight range. We still haven't broken it. So all this upside this morning has more just been a recovery rather than a real uptrend. So now the question is, are we going to continue what we've been doing the last 3 days of failing to break the overnight range? And we're going to come back down, or are we going to break this morning and recover some of this downtrend from yesterday? So I want to let the market decide which way to go, and then I want to try and follow with a break and retest. That's the plan. It's going to happen at some point, but it's going to be a waiting game to see when that actually happens. So I'll keep the stream on, because I do think at some point this is going to break. I just have no idea when. Okay, so it's attempting to break out lower. We want to see a break and then a retest of this very clean consolidation level. Or buyers will come in, which would be a sign that potentially we're looking to break out long.
Yeah, no worries. All right, I'll let you. Good luck. I'll look at you later on then. No worries. Good luck.
Okay, I'm short the DAX again. I'm not going to change screens because it's all happening rather fast. Closed half at VWAP. Oh wait, no I haven't. Fuck it. Just closed the whole position by accident. Well, closed. Oh man, I didn't mean to do that, but the market's actually moving higher now. Okay. Well, that might turn out to be a great thing, a great accident. So I meant to close half the position. I've just closed the full thing. But that's actually at the moment turning out to be a great idea. £740. So I haven't quite made up for the loss this morning earlier on, but that was a good trade. That's turned out to be a genius mistake. Because now it's right back to my entry. So there we go. I wish I could pretend I did that on purpose. Well, there you have it. So that was a great trade. So we saw the consolidation. We saw the consolidation level, and then we sold on the close of this candle here, which was a clear break of that consolidation. And then we got the follow through. So we're about £200 down now net on the morning. Very lucky that I accidentally closed a full position right at the lows. Certainly some good fortune there, absolutely no doubt about it. I'm not going to try and pretend that that's pure skill. But we have had a big, strong bounce here off of VWAP, which is a very good sign for the bulls if they can get something going. Or perhaps it's just a momentary bounce before continued downside. But there we go. There we go. An extremely quick trade. An extremely fast trade. Let's have a look at exactly how long that trade was held for. How can I see? That was a 1 minute 43 second trade for a £750 profit. How wild is that? How wild is that? So yeah, I'm not going to cover myself in glory there. That was a great entry and a lucky exit. You could argue you make your own luck by having the courage to re-enter a trade after you've misread it earlier on and lost, rather than taking my profits for the week and running. I don't know. Depends on your opinion, I suppose. But there we go. That was a good trade. So now this has been an extremely strong rejection of VWAP. So if we do get a breakout long, we would look to trade the break and retest long. So I'll change screens over again. Where is it? Oh, right. There it is. Okay. So you can see why I tried to take at least some profit in it. Yeah, that 5-minute candle is an extremely strong reversal candle. So yeah, let's see what happens. Now I don't want to buy yet because we could now just be in a trading range. So we want to see the market push to new highs and then test those new highs. So yeah, we're still down on the morning, but we're only now a couple of £100 down, which for all intents and purposes is practically zero relative to the size that I trade. And I'm quite pleased how I've not traded this morning in a defensive way, because I've not said, oh, I'm already up, beating my weekly target, I'm just going to take the day off. I've also lost a trade, learned from it, come back and made a good one. So I might be down on the morning, but I'm happy with my overall performance. Okay, I'll be back in a couple of minutes and we'll see if we get a breakout long. Okay, so we are looking like we may be getting this breakout long. Just to summarize what's happened this morning in terms of my own trading is all week long I've called my levels that I wanted to trade at early or even before the session started, whether it was previous day lows, previous day highs, moving averages, and I've literally only traded those levels all week until this morning. I traded a short here, not completely randomly, but this is not at a key level. This is essentially in the middle of the overnight range, and I should not be touching it. So we entered short, the market reversed. I called first thing this morning that the high at top of the overnight range was an area of interest, either for a break above or a rejection short. We moved up, consolidated, rejected short. I took that trade, great trade. So I should be £750 up this morning. It's this trade that didn't follow my initial plan, which has cost me my profits today so far. But that is that's the only trade that I think I've made in the last 2.5 weeks, which has not followed my plan. So I'm not going to kick myself too much. But I think it shows you the fragility of profitability in trading. Is you either accidentally or purposefully make one small error, and you lose quick, and you lose easily. You lose so easily. Definitely to take into next week. I'm almost glad it's happened though, because I'm essentially break even for the day, and I've learned a good lesson. So that's going to hopefully make me a better trader going into next week. So let's see. Are we going to get a breakout long? I don't think it would be a good idea to trade any more shorts, because I think if we do move down again, we're likely in a trading range. Now that we've had two moves down and have rejected and moved higher at the moving average both times, I think if we move down again, I risk just selling a retracement before another move higher. So I think the only trade that's left for me today is this this trade long, and you can see it. You can see where we'd be targeting. Back towards somewhere up here. Obviously, we're not going to hold it for 250 points, but you can see where the room is for upside, because yesterday's high is all the way up here at 24,780. So it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that we could move higher this morning. I'll be trading up to 11 o'clock at the latest. I'll never go past 11 o'clock, because that's when the US pre-market really kicks in, and then price action is more dictated by what's happening in America rather than what's happening in Europe. So in the future, if and when I want to start trading more, I will be learning to trade the NASDAQ in the afternoon. And I would be looking to apply the exact same tactics, if you like, on the NASDAQ as I do with the DAX. As in fact, all these systems that I trade, all these methods, is all actually learned from traders that do trade the NASDAQ, not the DAX. So if anything, this would work. It would work even better in the NASDAQ. And there's even more volatility, because the US session is easily the most volatile session relative to the EU and the Asian session. So eventually we'll be looking for that. But I need to be doing less tennis coaching. And to be honest, I'm not in a rush. The Nasdaq's always going to be there. I would probably look to have a separate account. So when I do look to trade the US session, I would look to pass another challenge to get a new account. So I'd trade one funded account in the morning and one funded account in the afternoon. So then I could easily track performance from one index to the other. And also, if I turn out to be shit at trading the Nasdaq, I don't lose the funded account that I would have worked so hard to get, which is a pretty standard thing that people do with prop firms. Is if they trade multiple things at multiple times, they would try and have separate accounts. It's just risk management, pay another £400 for a challenge, pass it, and then if you bust one of them, you've still got a way of making money on the other. Okay, so we've come back up to the old highs and we are actually selling quite sharply again here. We've made a rather clear double. I mean, this is a pretty clear resistance level. Thing is, I just don't want to short now because I was just worried about shorting into a trading range. The buyers have proven resilient this morning. I no longer want to bet against them. So the only way I would consider shorting again is if we sell all the way below VWAP, and then VWAP, which has acted as support, turn into resistance. But even then, I'm not too keen. I would much rather the market move higher. Otherwise, I think I'll just take my morning break even or slightly down and be happy to have survived. It's difficult, because this could now be the start of the real move down. It's impossible to know, but that's just not a bet I want to make. So let's just chill. So I think it's probably quite relevant to look at the 15-minute chart here, how all the bodies of these candles are all at the same level, just as they are at the top. If this candle starts to move below the body of the previous candle, then that's a real sign of weakness, because that previous candle is a super strong reversal candle, which you would, in a even remotely strong market, you would expect some follow through on this candle, which we've not had yet. Okay, I'm going to go and make a drink with an alert set for if the market breaks higher. If it does while I'm away, I will rush back. I'm going to set an alert and below. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, we are, by the looks of it, settling in to a trading range. Now my only move now is if we get a breakout long. That's my move. If we don't get it, then I will be finishing there. So I think I'm going to end the stream in a minute because I want to go through and review everything. And I need 3 screens for that. I will be around till 11. So if I do make another trade, I'll try and go live sort of immediately after that and do a review. But yeah, what a week. What a great week. Going to struggle to do better than this for a little bit. I mean, maybe we'll see. But that was a very profitable week. Where have we ended? Where have we ended up? $3,150. Nice. What's that? 4.5%. Yeah, 4.5%. Double our target. Okay, cool. Right, thank you. I will be doing a review if we do get a breakout to the long side. By the looks of the current price action, I'd say it's looking less and less likely by the minute. But yeah, so I need to talk to you later.